Hello everyone. So today I'm going to explain like how we are going to capture or maybe store, or if we want to save the data, image data basically into the MySQL database. So there are basically lots of options or lots of way to do this. We are having nowadays Spring Boot applications for inserting or capturing the data into the databases. So that is the one of the options. But here I am going to explain if we want to use the core Java without any kind of like app like a Spring Boot and all those Spring jars. So how we are going to achieve the same thing, like how we are going to store the data into the MySQL database using plain core Java JDBC. So this is the one of the things that I'm going to describe over here. So like for storing the database into the like MySQL database, as I'm going to for storing the data into the database, I'm going to use the MySQL. So for storing the image into the table, we need to means while we are creating any tables for storing the data. So like the thing is that we need to declare some kind of data type for the particular column, right, in a MySQL. So for storing the image, basically we are going to set the data type as the blob data type. This particular data type is basically used to storing the image into the databases. So for inserting the image into the like databases, MySQL database, we need to follow some approach. So what of the first approach? So first approach, actually we need to create one project. So we can create one project over here, and the project would be like kind of plain Java project. Okay, we can say like we can give any name over here, like maybe we can say kind of basic JDBC application. Okay, so that can be like we can do. Okay, so once it is done, next we need to create the like database connectivity. So for that we need to like as the we are going to use the MySQL database. So for connecting with the MySQL database, we need to follow something. First of all, we need to create one schema, then we need to create the table, and then we need to like insert like we need to define those fields. So let me create the table into the database first. So if we see over here, this is a basically SQL yog. This is one kind of editor, and this is already schema I am having, and here basically I am created the demo kind of tables over here. So here I have created we need to created one tables like images underscore data, and we are like keeping two fields over here. One is the like image underscore name. This is a varchar kind of field with 200 length. Another one is the like image underscore data. Here basically we are going to store the data, and the data type is a blob. So once we created this one, then this particular table is got created over here. Okay, now if we go over here, so here basically we need to create the like one lib folder, because as we are going to use the MySQL database, so for that we need to use the MySQL jar over here. So for that we need to use the MySQL library over here, else we will get some means we are not able to access the MySQL database or like jar kind means connectivity kind of thing. So for this basically this jar is required. Okay, so once it is done, then first of all we need to create one package over here. Let me create one package like com.ts.jdbc. Okay, let me create one database service over here like class. Either we can create over here, or already like I've used in my one of my applications. From there also I can like use this particular class. So let me copy this one. Okay, and let me paste over here. So you can use this one. I've already shown one of my tutorial how we are going to connect with the JDBC, how we are going to connect with any databases like using the core Java or maybe plain JDBC. So I will share the link into the description section. You guys can like go through this one. So this is the way basically. Here you can see this class.forName is basically load the MySQL JDBC driver that we have loaded over here, this connector. After that, we are establishing the connection using this driver manager.get connection. Over here, we need to pass this URL with schema name, and this is the localhost 3306. This MySQL actually running in this 3306 port, and this is the username and the password. So once this is done, then we are like creating this connection using this option. Okay. Next, what we will do, we will create the like one main class. Like maybe we can give name any name, like insert image into db. Okay, so over here we are going to create one main method, right? Because in a core Java, basically the main method is the entry point of any kind any things, right? So over here we are going to create one object for database service, right? Database service. Okay, the new database service. Over here we are going to database service dot get connection. Okay, we can directly, even we don't need to create the object. Why? Because this basically having this static method. Okay, that's why we can directly access this particular method with like class name, right? Connection con equals to this. Okay, it will throw the exception. Either we can throw the exception over here, or we can also catch over here. So both we can do. But what we can do over here, as means whenever we are creating any connection, so that particular connection should be closed, else it will like open, so that it will actually like wasting of the resource. So that's why we need to close the connection. So for closing the connections, we can take, there's a two approaches. One is like in the finally block, we can close the connection and all the database and resource kind of thing. Else there is another option which is basically try with resource, right? This is the concept came in the JDK 7 1.7. So from there it is over there. So that also approach you can take in over here. So let me use this one so that you guys can also understand like how we are going to use the try with resource. So this is the basically try with resource. Still we need to throw this one. So again, like it will throw the exception, but that is fine. But it will, what it will do, that is the actually we have used the try with the resource. So within this, we don't need to manually close the connection. What else we need to do? If we don't want to use this try with the resource, we need to close this particular connection into the finally block. But this is the better approach to use the try with the resource. Okay, so that means connection got created now. Next, what we will do, we will create one like we need to create one SQL, or we need to create one query, so that we need to for inserting the data into the database. So the query is, we need to write the query for inserting the data. It is very simple. Insert then into table name. So what is the table name? So the table name is this one. Okay, insert into table name. Then here basically with values we can provide the data. So here basically we are going to pass the two parameters, dynamic parameters, right? So for placing these dynamic values, we are going to use the pipette statement, right? Because you know, like here these are the basically dynamic values that we are going to pass over here. So those kind of things, for that we need to take one pipette statement. Pipette statement. Okay, ps equals to connection dot pipette statement. Here we need to pass this SQL. Again we need to close this pipette statement in a finally block, right? So instead of that, we are going to use the try with resource. Okay, so that it will automatically close the pipette statement. Now we need to set the data over here. So the first one is the like image name. So obviously it will be a string, and to one position here we can pass the like image name, right? So that may be test image we can say. And the next one is a blob, right? Set blob, this one, these two. And here we need to pass the image data. So how we are going to pass this one? So it, as you know, it is a basically kind of input stream data. So over here string file name equals to this. Here basically we need to define the path. Okay, like in our local file system where the file is located. So as you can see over here, the file is located over here. So we need to take this one. We need to take the complete path over here. We need to take this path and copy this one, and after copy this we need to set over here. Okay, so then let me refactor it. Here we need to load this particular image. So how we are going to load, as it is an input kind of thing, so for that we need to use the input stream. Okay, input stream equals to new file input stream, and here basically we need to pass this file name so that it will load the file using this input stream. Okay, so once this is done, then we need to pass this particular input stream here over here. Okay, and it will throw the exception. What kind of throw? Like maybe if this file input stream actually trying to get data from this path, but if this file is maybe available or maybe not, so that's why it is throwing the file not found exception. Okay, so this is done now. Now either we can handle this exception with try and catch, or maybe we can throw this exception. Okay, both can be done. Now this is done. Now after setting all the data over here, we can, what we can do, we can like do just simply will the execute the statement. So once it will execute, it will actually insert the data into the database. As we can see over here, this particular execute statement return the boolean. So we can capture this response over here, like maybe is success or something. Okay, and based on this flag we can print something. If it is a true, then we can print like data inserted successfully. Okay, data image data inserted successfully. Okay, and failed. Else if it is not success, means if it is we are getting the response as false, then what we can write over here, we can write like failed to insert data, failed to insert data into database. Correct. So this kind of things we can do over here. Next, what you can do, so that means the program is ready. So as you can see over here, the program is very like small entity kind of thing, right? We can also, what we can do, we can like extract this one like over here, like something like and extract method, and we can do the rename over here like insert data into database, insert image data into DB. Okay, that also we can do. Okay, so let me run this one. How we are going to run this one? Run as Java application. It is throwing the exception, this jar is not available. Okay, because this actually we need to include into the build path, so that we forgot over here. We have added as a leave. So how we are going to include as a build path? So from over here, right click in the project folder, project application actually, then over here you will get one options build path. From over here you will get the sub menu, and here is the option configure build path. Over here you can see there is a class path section in under the libraries tab. Over here you will get 3-4 tab over here, 5 mostly, and under this libraries sections over here you can select as a add jar. From here this leaf you need to choose, so that means it is added under this class path. Now you need to apply and close. So after this, rerun this application again. As you can see, database connection created successfully, and also you are getting failed to insert the data. That means we are getting the response as false over here. But what is the reason? That is not clear, right? Let me see the database. But database over here, that means data got inserted over here, but we are getting the as a fails response. So that means instead of this, what we can do, execute update is here. Okay, as you can see, for actually basically insert DML kind of thing, like insert, update and delete, we are going to use this execute update, and it's return an integer value. Okay, integer. So that means if it is a greater than 0, then it's a success, else false. Let me rerun it again. Okay, yeah, now we can see image data inserted successfully. So it's return, that means greater than 0 means 1 it will return. Okay, now if we see into the database, so you can see next record is inserted over here, and the data size is 17k. You can see over here, like this is the data. It's not showing over here, but this is the thing. In this way basically we can insert the data into the database. So this is the kind of approach. The reverse also we can do, like we can fetch data from the database. That is also we can do. So for that we need to follow some approach over here. This is also very simple. Okay, so here we can create another method instead of this insert, like we can create fetch image, or maybe retrieve image data from DB. Correct? Okay, so what you can do, first of all we need to create the connection. Then next instead of insert, we can say select star from image data, means it will basically return all the data from this particular table. Select star from this table. Okay, where basically we are going to store this one, so we need to define the path. Okay, like where we are going to store the data over here. So this is the path inside of the image folder we are going to like store. Okay, so that actually you can define over here. This is only the path. Next, while actually after executing this, we don't need to pass any parameter because there is a no dynamic parameter over here, so we don't need to pass those things. And here basically we need to, how we are going to fetch the data. So for that, instead of this execute update, we need to use this execute query. So it will basically return the result set. SULT result set. Okay, again it will also need to close this result set because it is also one kind of resource. So again we are going to use this try with resource, right? Again we are going to use this try with resource. Okay, here you can see it's a rs. Now we will create one if loop, if condition actually, if rs dot next is having a data, then we will fetch the data from this over here. So how we are going to do this, like the data is over here, so for that rs dot get blob, because the data we have stored into the database as blob size, right? blob blob, and the index is 2 index, correct? So over here actually it's stored data over here in the 2 position. So and it is basically kind of blob kind of thing, blob data type. Okay, so you can use this blob over here. Next, like we can create one byte array. Equals to blob dot get bytes, and here basically we need to take the position over here. So how we are going to give the dynamic position from this, and then b dot length, blob dot length. Okay, Okay, we need to cast as a int. Okay, so this is the array. Next we need to create one output stream because we need to like write data in somewhere, so that's why we need to like create as the output stream. For the input, like whenever we're going to take the input as image, then we use the file input stream, but here actually we are going to use the file output stream. Okay, file output stream equals to new file output stream. Here basically we need to define the path. Okay, so either like we can directly define this path here, and we can give the name as like maybe test underscore fetch dot png. Okay, can remove to this one. Okay, so this is output stream setup is done. Now next we need to write this output stream dot write and the byte. What actually we need to write? The byte one. Okay, so this is done, and it will throw the exception. We can okay, and we can't do this operation under try with resource because it will again a resource. Okay, this file output stream. Okay, input stream not required over here. This file name is not required. We need to clean up all those things only. So what we done over here, first of all we have written one query. First of all we have created the connection, then we have write this query, then using this PPI statement we are execute the query. Using this result set we are fetching data from this second position. We have taken the blob data type, and using this we have converted as a byte array, and then this byte array basically we have write into using the file output stream. We can also pin the name like file name over here, like directly file name. Okay, over here rs dot get string and position 1. Okay, so it will print the file name and the to position we are getting the like this data, or else we can directly use this one. Okay, so this variable is not required now. Okay, it's required to better to keep it over here. Okay, so this is done. Next basically we need to like instead of insert we need to call the retrieve one. Okay, and it will throw, we need to add this one IO exception. Okay, so overall the thing is done now. Next what else we need to do? We need to run this application. So let me run this one. You can run from over here. Okay, connection created successfully. We can get the file name test image. Now let's see in the folder. Yeah, we can get the file over here, right? So this was the like input file, and output this one test underscore fetch. This name actually given by us. This is downloaded, right? So the thing is getting working. In this way basically we can retrieve the data, image data from the database. These are the options that we can do. And for like closing the resources automatically, there is options to like try with the resource option is there, so that we can automatically fetch means automatically it will close the resources. So try with resource basically is content auto closable actually interface, so that's why it's for closing the resources automatically. So this is the thing for like how we are going to insert image into the database, and also like how we are going to retrieve those images from the database using the plain JDBC core Java. So these are the approach. If you guys have anything, please do let me in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe my channel. Thank you for your time. Bye bye.